You should not let ski season end without doing these 2 things. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love skiing, and I want to be skiing into my 80s and beyond. So these 2 proactive steps are going to make sure that my body's still here for me when I want to go downhill fast and when I want to enjoy the mountains in the summertime too. Skiing was my first introduction to the mountains that I love, but for a while I was held back from fully enjoying them. So first, let's talk about the season where I really realized how important it is to give back to the body that gives to you. I was fresh out of university and coaching a ski team 4 days a week. I was skiing for myself as well, so I was on snow a lot. And I was super focused on giving my athletes the best training environment they could have. I neglected my own body and my own health that winter. I thought as a 22-year-old that I didn't need to put any time into my body and it would just be there for me. But by March, I was already feeling worn out, burned out, and sloppy on snow is the best way that I can think to describe it. I was feeling creaky knees and hips, and when I surveyed my Instagram last week, I realized that I'm not alone. A lot of seasons, people end up feeling like they're barely getting their body to the end of the year and to closing day. Now, there was one moment in particular that this became incredibly clear, but first let's dive into what skiing is actually doing to our bodies. Because to go skiing, we are stuffing our feet into arguably the world's stiffest shoes, sitting on chairlifts for as long as we are skiing down the mountain at least, and then hopping off of that lift and resisting super high forces, all for the sake of enjoying gravity. I personally could not live life without it. But the cast that you're putting around your foot and the 90 degrees that you're sitting at when you're on that chairlift are going to have consequences if you don't do a couple things to undo what that equipment is doing to your body. I feel better now as a 32-year-old than I did as a 22-year-old. The wake-up call that I needed was this one moment. I went to drop into a deep squat, something that I would always do pre-season to help me get ready for skiing, and I fell right over backwards. See, my ankles and feet had become stiff and weak, and so when I went to go down into a squat, my knees couldn't go forward over my toes, and instead, I was sitting backwards. That was increasing the shear force on my knees, which is probably why my knees were feeling cranky that winter when I was 22, and probably working its way up into why my hips were feeling cranky as well. Down the chain, that might mean I'm not able to access all of my hip muscles to get stability through the hips, which ironically, over time is going to make skiing on stiff and uneven terrain more difficult. Now, I'm not one to shy away from hard work, so I started to chip away at those stiff and tight and weak ankles and feet. These 2 moves that I'm about to show you are the ones that changed the game the most for me. Now, the second one, you can actually do kind of secretly, anywhere, anytime, without anyone knowing. In fact, I'm doing it right now. But for this first simple move, you need to carve out 2 minutes per day and find a slightly raised surface to use. Now, this first move, a 2-part ankle letdown, is magical for a couple of reasons. First, you're going to find a stretch with a bent knee. Then you're going to find a stretch with a straight knee. Then part 3, you're going to do a calf raise onto your tippiest of tiptoes. I've got 2 parts to my calf muscle. One of them is stretched more in this bent knee position. One is stretched more in a straight leg position. So it's important to stretch in both. Beyond that, I then want to actively use the muscle through its entire range of motion to neurally lock in those changes I've made to muscle length. Start with just a minute of side, but you can increase this as you feel more comfortable and confident. And I always like to test and retest my low squat after doing this to really see the impact it can make. Now, the secret move I talked about earlier is one that can help you on and off the ski hill. Because even though we are wearing the world's stiffest shoe when we're out skiing, any coach worth their season's pass is going to tell you that your feet are actually incredibly active within those ski boots. Tiny movements by the muscles of the feet are going to shift where your balance is on skis. and can make you look and feel like you're floating down even the toughest of terrain. Now, the secret move is toe lifts and switches. Try them now, even inside shoes. See if you can lift your big toes and press all of your little toes down, and then switch. Press your big toe down and lift all your little ones up. Bonus points if you can keep those toes spread apart the entire time. Now, because these movements transfer so well to hiking, I actually include them in the 8-week hike program that we are launching soon. So if you're interested in getting involved and properly transitioning from ski season to hiking season, then you can check that out in the link below. But right now, today, you can start implementing those 2 movements at the end of your day skiing, if you're out spring skiing still, or at the beginning of your day if you started transitioning to hiking. And I hope that they help you experience less calf pain, less knee pain, less hip pain as you get out of those plastic boots and into some off-season temperatures. Have a wilder week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.